We've currently got 2 days of debate underway on the counter-terrorism measures being proposed by the government, what have become known as the 42-day issues. The ability to detain a terrorist suspect for up to, and I do stress up to, 42 days, pending charges being brought. Now, this is something that stirred a lot of anxiety amongst people. Everybody's concerned about civil liberties argument. How can you hold somebody for that length of time without bringing charges? Surely that's not right. But equally, many people feel that when you are protecting citizens of this country against terrorist threats that we know are out there, regrettably, we've seen some of them in this country, we've seen them in Madrid, we've seen them in so many other places throughout the world, should we be putting in place the right sort of legislation that will protect citizens from the threat of death and injury through a terrorist attack? Well, let's look at what's proposed. First of all, it isn't an automatic 42 days detention without charge. It is currently the situation that we have up to 28 days, and that has judicial oversight. The proposals currently being put forward will increase that beyond 28 days, up to 42 days, but only when the Secretary of State brings the case to the House of Commons, only when the independent assessor on terrorism, Lord Carlisle, has looked at it, only when the Director of Public Prosecution has made an opinion on it as well, and only with continuing judicial oversight every time such a decision is made. Now, if a friend of mine or a relative or myself was arrested without charge on the threat, under the threat of terrorism, then I would want those sort of safeguards being in place, nothing less than that. But that has to be the right balance then, to say that if there is a genuine threat of terrorism, then you should allow the police and you should allow the intelligence services the breathing space to go in and make proper investigations when you are ploughing through massive records of computer records, massive records of mobile phone records, massive use of deciphering all the encrypted information that may be on these computer records, many languages having been used, possibly pursuing the line of investigation across many continents. Now, when we know the threat is out there, it is surely the responsibility of any government to make the right decision to protect its citizens. And yes, we have to balance that against the rights of the individual, against the civil liberties arguments that are so rightly put forward. But for all the safeguards that are currently in there, I think we've got that balance right. And bear in mind, these powers would only be introduced when there was a real and serious threat identified by the intelligence services, supported by the Director of Public Prosecution, supported by the Secretary of State, and with judicial oversight. So this is not like old terrorist legislation that we've used before, where it stays on the record book for year after year after year. This has a limited lifespan of up to 30 days, and then it drops. Now that's why I think it is absolutely right. Now I hope you agree with me, but what I would say is, this is a complex issue, balancing civil rights and civil liberties against the right of the individual to go about safely in their working life without fear of death or being maimed in a terrorist incident. I think we've got the balance right. I don't know whether the debate will be won in a day's time when the vote is taken in the House of Commons up above us. What I do know is that whilst this is a difficult decision to take, I think we are taking the right decision in the best interest of the country and in the best interest of all our citizens.